Of course, many communities and neighborhoods were just absolutely devastated by these storms, and these are just some of the storm reports from yesterday. There are so many that the National Weather Service is still having to go through and kind of filter through them. So this map is going to light up a lot more. But we had a tornado watch that came out at about 2:30 or 3. We were slated to have a press conference with the Memphis Police Department at about 2:30. They were going to talk about the severe weather threat for yesterday. And then from that point, we were going to talk a little bit about the weather. And it turned out during that press conference, we had our first thunderstorm warning issued. So we went on our digital stream at about 2:30. And we stayed on constantly until I think we went off right at 4 a.m., 4 or 4:30 in the morning. So we did about 4:15. So we did almost 14 hours straight of coverage. And Kit, I appreciate you. Kit took the last about hour, I think, because my voice was gone. I was extremely exhausted, and I had to get ready for our morning broadcast. So, Kit, I appreciate that. But, this all started around 3 o'clock. And if you remember, we had several tornado warnings that started off and no confirmed touchdown with those. So we went about, 2 to 3 hours with warnings, but no touchdown. And then it was about 6 o'clock that we got this line of thunderstorms. It really wasn't even a line. It was more of a line of supercells that set up.
Some chaser vernacular for is a string of pearls. I've taken a seat here too.
Yeah.
He's over there. He's got a seat, so I pulled up one for myself. They sometimes call this a string of pearls of supercells, and I saw a loop afterwards that it was just this one after the other, after the other, after the other. It was just a quick loop of, I think, 6 supercells just outside of our viewing area in Southwest that were starting to lift into our area. And I think we were pretty hyper-focused on northern Mississippi at the time, Trevor. So I didn't even see that on radar, but that would have had my gut sink through my pants.
Yeah. And when I caught that coming in, we had some warnings in North Mississippi, but when we caught that, it was serious. And by about 6 o'clock, that started to creep into the area. So we had tornado warnings, I think, at about the same time. They all went up for Poinsett, Cross, St. Francis, Lee, and Phillips, almost all at the same time. And it was about then that we had a tornado touchdown in Poinsett County. And this was actually our first tornado of the day. A law enforcement officer caught it in Poinsett County and shared it with us. This is near Fisher, which, if you remember, it seems like a year ago now, but Sunday night we had more severe weather. We were here tracking it, and we had a tornado touchdown in this same area. So this was the beginning of what was going to be a very strong tornado. This touchdown in Poinsett County near Fisher, and it tracked all the way through Poinsett County. Thankfully, it kind of weaved between the towns. It missed Harrisburg. It did come pretty close to Truman, though. And that was when, at about 6:06, we took that traffic camera, if you remember, and we watched the tornado actually cross the Interstate 555 in Truman. We didn't have any major damage in Truman, but from there, the tornado grew in intensity. This became a tornado emergency, which was probably the rarest form of warning issued. And that's when it hit Lake City, Arkansas. And Lake City is just devastated with damage this morning. Thankfully, we don't have any reports of injuries out of Lake City, at least serious injuries. But we've had reporters there that are going through these homes that are just forever torn apart and changed. And while we were tracking this tornado that was hitting a town, we had 3 more tornadoes touch down. And we're going to have to go back and analyze this, but I believe there was a time that we had 4 tornadoes on the ground at one time in eastern Arkansas, because we had one in Lee County, we had another one followed behind it in Truman, and then we had another one in Cross County near Wynn. We were very concerned for Wynn for a couple of minutes because we just hit 2 years since those deadly tornadoes in 2023. It missed Wynn, thankfully. And then after that, we kind of got a break. We had several hours where we didn't have a single confirmed tornado. To be honest with you, I kind of thought we were done with it, at least the worst of it. And then it was about 11 o'clock, it blew up again. 11:15 p.m., we had a tornado warning for Bolivar. We had a tornado warning for Marshall County. We had a tornado that touched down near Walnut, Mississippi, and that continued into Grand Junction. And then that one also came pretty close to Middleton, Tennessee. Now remember Middleton, because we're going to come back to that later. And then really at 12:30 last night, I guess 12:30 this morning, I should say, is where the worst of this weather kind of hit us. At 12:30, That storm that we were talking about near Middleton continued into McNairy County, and it was just after 12:30 that Selmer was hit. And we understand there are multiple fatalities in Selmer from a dangerous tornado that went through there, and we're getting videos there of neighborhoods and apartment buildings that were just absolutely leveled by this tornado. Again, that one's in EF3, but at the same time, we had a tornado come through Senatobia, Mississippi. That was in Tate County. So Selmer was getting hit at the same time as Senatobia. We had damage in Senatobia that they haven't been even able to survey yet because of the storms now happening today. And so that was kind of the worst part of it, Kit. We had those two at the exact same time in Senatobia and Coldwater, and then in Selmer as well. Both were awful storms.
To a couple of comments here on our Facebook and YouTube live streams, but I have some remarks on that, and I want to rewind back to the Lake City tornado, of course. First off, I'll do the Lake City. We had a tornado emergency at that point. That is a rare tornado warning. Of course, we kind of preach, treat every warning the same. Tornado emergency, or even flash flood emergency, which is kind of on the table for the next couple of days. Whenever we say emergency, that is it kind of gives you chills thinking about what that means. From the definition, usually these kinds of warnings are issued for an imminent observed violent tornado that is heading into a populated area. So, Lake City was in that, Selmer was in that. I believe Selmer was under the emergency.
If they weren't, it was close.
It was either downstream or they may have extended it as well. But then, of course, we had that second tornado emergency across northern Mississippi and southwestern Tennessee. That was the second time. And whenever we were talking about these storms, we were talking about debris signatures. Yeah. And it was funny, Trevor, we had said that, or you had directed that there was going to be the storm on the north that was forming here in Poinsett County, and then there was the one, I think it was down here in Lee or St. Francis County, one of the two. You said that was going to be my storm and that was going to be your storm, and then that storm took off and mine weakened, which is odd. It's unusual for a northern storm to become the dominant storm because, all of the energy was pulling in from the south. And so usually if one storm is getting that energy pulled into it, well, that sort of interrupts it for the storms north, and those usually weaken. I would love to see a research paper on this, or at least an explanation from the Storm Prediction Center on that.
I'm sure there will be one. I think you mentioned it yesterday during the coverage. This will be an event that's studied. Meteorology students are going to hear about this. They're gonna have to look at this and analyze why this happened. And if it could happen again. And that's kind of what we do in meteorology school is we look at old events and we learn from them and we say, how do we make this not happen again? We have people's lives that are forever changed from these storms yesterday. And our job and our goal is to have that not ever happen again. We cannot prevent the weather, we cannot change the weather, we cannot control the weather, but we can inform you about it and help you make decisions to keep you and your family safe. But I mean, this was an insane, in the worst way, tornado outbreak, and we were kind of talking about Selmer got hit at the same time Senatobia got hit, and then that Senatobia storm followed up almost the same path behind it, and it hit Sladen, Mississippi. And then it hit Middleton, Tennessee. And you can almost see on my map here of these storm reports. Right here, if we could take weather 1 here, this is the report of the storm, the tornado near Senatobia there. And again, this is around 12:30. This thing crossed Interstate 22 near Victoria at about 1 in the morning. And then it went up towards Sladen, Mississippi. This is where we had a tornado emergency once it hit Sladen. And then it came to Middleton, Tennessee, in southern Hardeman County. And that is when we got this photo from our North Mississippi storm chasers and spotters. And this is a partnership we've had with them. The radar can only show you so much, and it is hard to have, some people explain what the radar is seeing. If you are not an expert in meteorology or you don't watch the weather a lot, you don't know what these colors mean. And I know a lot of us around here do because, we have weather a lot. And I grew up knowing what all the radar colors mean. But we have people that move here. I get messages all the time from people that have moved from Canada. They don't even know what the radar is supposed to mean. But everybody knows what that means, that picture means. And so that's what I think is so important, and why we have this partnership with the storm chasers, and why we have these new weather cameras. You might have noticed that we've been using our new weather cameras recently, because it's easier to show you what's happening as we would see it than to try to describe to you what happens on the radar when there's just so many colors. Of course, we can kind of use both in tandem, but that's kind of our new partnership with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. So that tornado came near Middleton. It passed really close to LaGrange, and it was in LaGrange with this tornado in Fayette County before it got here that it had hit someone's mobile home. It had flipped the mobile home, and what we understand is that a father and a daughter died in that mobile home that was flipped. And when you see that tornado and you realize that at this point it was deadly, it's almost hard to look at. You just don't even want to look at what Mother Nature can do. It's scary. It's frightening. You understand why people are scared of weather, and it's tough to deal with. It's sometimes hard for us to stand up here. I mean, we did 14 hours, I think I said, of tornado coverage. It's hard
for us to stand up as we're sitting.
Yeah, it's hard to look at that and then say, okay, well, on to the next one. It's tough on us, and I just feel like I need to share that with you, and that you should know that we do empathize with you. And I know sometimes it doesn't come off that way when we're saying, okay, this storm is a deadly tornado, but now we have to talk about the other thing. It's a struggle for us to kind of go through that. So I just want to kind of open up and share that with you. And then, Kit, a statistic for you.
I love statistics.
I know you do love statistics. Yesterday, and I wish I could have made a map on this. I was going to work on this, and then we had the warnings come up. The National Weather Service, over the last 24 hours, issued a total of 49 tornado warnings.
Just tornado warnings?
Just tornado warnings.
Okay.
Now, the record for one day for the Memphis Weather Service office is 49. However, it's tricky because this passed over midnight.
Okay.
So this was over 2 days. So I'm going to try to find a way I can
get... As a 24-hour period?
As a 24-hour period. What was the most tornado warnings in a 24-hour period? But when you look at that list, I mean, even I think we had 34 before the clock hit midnight. That was still in the top 10. And it was up there with April 2011, February 2008. I mean, this puts this up there with one of the most serious tornado outbreaks that we have ever had.
So the April 2011, for those who aren't weather nerds, that follow every single outbreak since from the history books and from when they were born, April 2011 is when we had the, we call it a super outbreak. Yeah. Like yesterday was an outbreak of tornadoes. We're not going to discount that. Outbreak just means an abundance of tornadoes with high intensity, with widespread, many simultaneous, and not just in our viewing area. This is one thing that, one, as a weather nerd, and two, just as someone who wants to be aware of things, I don't know what happened outside of our viewing area. There were tornado warnings well outside of our viewing area that we couldn't pay attention to. Yes, we were the focus with the high risk, but there was the Storm Prediction Center outlooks went all the way up into southern Michigan. So there could very well be more. I remember hearing a report from ABC that there was an EF1 or EF0 in Missouri.
I think we had one near Nashville, too.
Okay, even near Nashville. I remember seeing a couple of tornado warnings that direction, so that makes sense. But a super outbreak is an upper echelon of just the magnitude, not just of one day, but of multiple days across entire regional blocks of the country. 1974 super outbreak. That is one for the history books that it really goes down. Palm Sunday tornado, I think, was part of an outbreak as well. I can't remember. I think that was in the 60s. Yep. Then the 2011 super outbreak is the most recent one we've had. If you Google Tuscaloosa EF4, that'll be the video of the day for that day. I think the one out of Lake City is going to be the video
for sure.
of that. Brandon Koptic also had on his chase incredible view of that. I want to ask, speaking of the video, I want to ask our producer, no rush on it, but if you can pull up the video of the I-555, both of its, the video as it crossed and the pause, and then the Lake City video.
I was thinking about that. I wish we could have pulled some of this in before. I didn't honestly expect to have a debrief on this, but I do think it's important to do, and I think it's good to talk about this as it happened, and I think that's what a lot of people are doing today, is kind of debriefing and talking about it. So if we can get those videos, we can take a look at some of those. But I do just want to kind of do one final recap. Again, 49 tornado warnings issued yesterday. That was had to have been close to a record for the Memphis National Weather Service office. And then we had several communities that are in our area that are forever going to be changed by this. I mean, this is the same thing that happened a couple of years ago with Wynn and Covington and McNairy County back then. I mean, those communities are still rebuilding. Wynn has not opened their new high school. Covington has not opened their new schools yet. They're still working on those. So it is, it's going to be a tough time. I want to show you some of these videos really quick. This is, we'll start with the lake. Well, actually, let's start with the interstate one, because that's kind of the first one in this sequence. This is the one over the traffic camera that passed live on TV. We watched this live on TV happen.
If you want to put it in the green screen, I can sort of point out what they're.
I mean, that's.
Yeah, no need to point it out.
I saw that on TV, and to be honest with you, I went back and watched it back, and I didn't even realize. I almost screamed when I saw this, but that was just such a natural reaction. I mean, when you look at that and you see that and you realize that's in Truman, Arkansas, and that is in a town, you can almost only shout. And Kit, you didn't see it at the time. I don't think you saw it with the first flash until we re-racked it, but I caught that with that lightning strike behind it, and so your heart just sinks.
What we had seen previously, and this is what was so jarring about Trevor. If you have the video of it before the still image, we've got that other one as well, but we had seen the tornado over here, and it just had this, let's pull that one up here. We'll pull that one up here. Not this one. This was the other.
Well, that's what it turned into.
That's what it turned into.
Which is crazy. I mean, you look from one to the other, and you can see just. I mean, that was in a matter of what, probably 10 minutes between these two, that it turned from what we saw on the traffic camera into that.
So while we're here. Okay, this is all Haley has.
Yeah, that'll
Haley,
work.
Thank you. Of course, we saw initially that very thin, narrow one, and it was dark against the background. Can we go back just to the Arkansas DOT so I can talk about that for a brief moment? Here we go. So we were looking over these trees over here, and there was just this snake of a shadow over here, and Trevor keenly picked that out very quickly. We were dancing between cameras. I was trying to find other cameras over on our weather system to see this from, and he called it out. He's like, there's the tornado. It's right there. It's just right this snake. And it was like, oh, we've got the tornado. And then it just went into this dark zone. Of course, we were looking north, so it's not backlit. In chasing, there's a very dangerous part of the storm to be chasing, and it's right inside the hook. But you get a good view of it with the backlights of everything south being clear, but we're looking north where all of the heavy rain is, and that's under the whole column of the thunderstorm, so it's very dark. Then we presumed it had crossed. We saw a radar update. The velocity couplet was then passed, and then that's when Trevor saw that flash. And Trevor, I heard your reaction on that, and my eyes then flicked back up. Of course, TV is never exactly live, a little behind the curtain. We have about a 5 to 15 second delay on our channels. So I flashed up to see what was live and saw that myself, and I also gasped. I don't think my mic was up, but you just see that cone tornado. It quickly developed. Whenever we talk about tornadoes, there's different classifications. There's all sorts of different snowflakes out there too. We like to classify things in the weather world, but we had a rope tornado, to this is now a cone tornado. And Haley, if we can get that other Lake City video now, we got to a wedge tornado.
That was literally, I mean, from what you're seeing there to what we're about to show you was 10 minutes. Yeah. From Truman to Lake City, that's what that turned into. And I mentioned this on air when we saw it, but you see that in Nebraska. If you told me that was in Nebraska, Kearney, Nebraska, I'd believe it.
Trevor, do you want to just join me over at the wall?
Yeah.
we can both point it out of what we're talking about here. I'll just move this away. You can go onto our YouTube channel and you can watch a short video of, I was breaking this down at the 10 o'clock time frame, and the YouTube comments, never go into the YouTube comment section, I understand, but some were giving me some flack about how I was describing it. I want to slightly defend it, but not necessarily say that it was a good thing. That when I was describing it, I said it as both beautiful and terrifying. I say that as a matter of this is what I've studied. It's what I love. It's what I enjoy.
It's almost awesome in the worst way. It gives you awe when you look at that.
And so, like, whenever we're saying stuff like this, of course, we are completely empathetic to everyone who has been impacted by this, but it's more just the power of nature that we are just struck by. So that's what I meant by that. I apologize if I offended anyone by describing it as such, but you can just see how this storm is just rotating so quickly across the wall cloud here. There were power flashes with that.
Yeah, that's not lightning. That's where it's knocking down the transformers. And the relays there that are connected to the power lines. That's why it's flashing from the ground, because it's tearing up the power grid.
Yeah,
as it goes through.
And so anytime we see this, of course, one thing we can be grateful of. I haven't heard any reports of a death from this tornado.
I haven't heard of even any serious injuries, which is a miracle. This is a very powerful tornado, an EF3. If that was an EF4, I wouldn't be surprised. The thing is, you can't rate the tornado unless it hits something.
Right.
So we have a lot of controversy in the weather world because we have these massive tornadoes that radar is measuring 300-mile-an-hour winds that would classify it to be an EF5, but because it was in the middle of the field, they can't make it an EF5. So, I mean, this could have been a 4 at this time, but if it was in the open field and they don't have any damage to survey, they won't be able to call it that.
The one thing I'll give it is that it hit a transformer.
Yeah.
We know it hit that. So it did hit something at this point. So we'll have a survey for that potentially. But whenever you see open fields like this, there's sort of I'll call it a joke. I don't like to joke about things. I'll move this out of the way. You can see a little better. The joke is we pray for a wedge tornado in a fallow field that has no farmhouse.
Yeah. I mean, that's when that's what. You know, if you're going to look at tornadoes and study tornadoes, you want them in an open field. You don't want them hitting anything. And thankfully, this tornado was on the ground for a very long time. I mean, this started in Poinsett County. It missed Harrisburg. It generally missed Truman. It was just north of Truman. And unfortunately, I believe it missed mostly Monette, but it did hit Lake City. But if there's any good news out of this tornado is, again, like you said, in Lake City, no major injuries or fatalities. There are homes that are destroyed here and lives that are certainly forever changed. But you can rebuild a house, and we can be thankful for that in Lake City, that it was not more serious, because it could have been.
And I feel like when we saw this video, what was the first thing that went through your mind?
To be honest with you, I was worried that someone had sent us a video from 2 years ago from Oklahoma and was trying to pass it off as today. But then we got so many more videos. We were watching Storm Chasers, and it looked the same. I mean, that is you just don't see that around here. Even on March 31st, 2023, the tornado did not look like this necessarily. This just looks like a mean tornado, and it was. So
one thing, meteorologically wise, Trevor made a joke yesterday on mid coverage that I was handing out meteorology degrees. No, we like the knowledge and the science, and we like to talk to you about this kind of stuff. Yeah, so this kind of a tornado, it doesn't show up a lot in the deep south. The deep south alley, so to speak, is characterized by high precipitation supercells. This was a classic supercell. The low precipitation supercell is sort of the other end of the spectrum. And you usually see classic and low precip in the plains, into the western plains. Here we have high precipitation supercells where, if you see, you've got that swirling on the big here, the big wide view all the way around to here. That's where we've got the mesocyclone pulling in. And here in the deep south, since we have so much moisture with the Gulf right next door, it usually will bring in a ton of rain, and you'll get this curtain of rain that then shrouds and obscures the tornado, so you can no longer see it. So you usually don't, sometimes we'll have this level of strength, this width of a tornado, but you won't see it like this. And this is one of the most dangerous parts of why the Deep South has such deadly tornadoes, because a lot of people can't see them coming. But it was shocking, exactly as Trevor said. It looked like it was from Oklahoma. It didn't look like it was from the Deep South. Of course, we got clear fields here too, so it's just, every single picture that I ever looked at in college or from friends who chase in the Central Plains, this is that kind of a tornado. So it was shocking to see it in Arkansas. And unfortunately, this came at the end of the night. This was one of our last visuals of any tornadoes in our viewing area. Once we got into the overnight, that's when we started to see the storms becoming a little more obscured by the shroud of night.
Yeah, and Kit, just to kind of wrap all this up here, obviously for the next several days and several weeks and several months, these communities are going to need our help. They're going to need not only our thoughts, but also our actions. I mean, think about, we have Lake City, we have Senatobia, we have Sladen, we have Grand Junction, we have LaGrange, and we have Selmer, which might have been the strongest hit. So if you can find a way to pitch in and help out, do so. You know, I know we're good about that here in the South. We like to help our friends and neighbors, but we are going to try to pass along some ways you can help here in the coming days.